Well, welcome everyone. I'm thankful for the opportunity to present. My name is Rob Gore. I'm the Director of Mobile Applications for Norwex. We sell high-end cleaning products all over the world to make our environment a better world to live in. And I thought it would be appropriate today to just spend just a few minutes and talk to you about my personal journey as a director and leader in a global enterprise company, and what this meant to me as far as this technology framework. And I divided up into three quick little slides. Basically, choosing a technology stack for my personal future, choosing a technology framework for a global enterprise e-commerce solution, and selling a new technology and framework within the organization. Again, about 7 years ago, I ran into the situation where I thought it's time in my career again, like I experienced when moving from C to C++ or from C++ later to Java. I began to think about what technologies could open the most doors in my own personal future while still leveraging all of my past experience. And mobile application development seemed like a desirable choice, but there appeared to be some inhibitors. One of them was just lack of knowledge. I had not yet even heard of hybrid mobile development. I thought mobile apps required specific device-specific languages and environments for iOS and Android, and there was some truth to that. But the more I thought about it, I didn't know how practical it'd be for me to try to rapidly develop high proficiency in all those different environments. It just seemed to not be practical. And turned out that my son-in-law, James Casey, introduced me to Angular, and he was real excited about it. And it was exciting technology, but it just didn't seem ready for prime time, didn't seem ready for practical enterprise development activity. But it wasn't until quickly after that that Angular 2 came out. And I began to see Angular 2 combined with Ionic's Cordova framework, just tremendous possibilities. In fact, what it reminded me of personally was when we started writing in Java a long time ago, and I started thinking, this has a lot of potential for the future, and it turned out to be true. Well, I believe the same thing with Ionic, but I was thinking about it personally. For one thing, my C++ and Java skills could be useful for plugin development. My previous HTML, JavaScript, and web application skills would immediately flow into this Ionic environment. I would just need to learn Angular 2, and more importantly, but later, NGRX. But it became apparent that I could leverage decades of HTML client-server web application experience with this new technology. So choosing Ionic could leverage my past and open many possibilities for my own personal future. So I created and released a social media application to the stores. Its name was Grace Note, and it was something that was fun to do. But in doing so, I was able to develop the UI, the APIs, the database, learn how to satisfy all the business requirements for an approved mobile app through Apple and Google. And overall, I just had a lot of fun. But in my position as a senior business analyst for Norwex, this was a couple of years later, I'm looking at Ionic and saying, would it be a good fit for Norwex? And these were the things that were on my mind. Was it in line with our strategic direction as a company? The Ionic framework and Angular provided that technology and support that we needed for a global enterprise e-commerce solution. From what I could read, and the experiences that I've had have told me very definitely that this technology was actually ready for prime time. Now, in this meeting, I hope this isn't rough to say, but there are us that come from a different world than JavaScript, and we're going, can JavaScript really be ready for prime time like this in an enterprise solution? And the answer is absolutely yes. Then that was new to me. Another was resource availability, because one of the things I knew that I was going to have to talk to senior management about was, are we going to have to hire completely brand new staff that are going to be specialized in one only working on iOS mobile and the other only working on Android mobile. And I began to see that that's not really true. The required JavaScript and HTML skill sets that are required for hybrid mobile development are easily available for the most part. And with training, we could even leverage our current developers and train them how to bring them on and work with us. Another major issue was going to be the cost. And in this case, not having to hire separate Swift teams and Java teams, and we don't have to implement the entire development environment because they've got a wonderful cloud-based solution, that I can actually do rapid development and proof of concept, which I used quickly. And in general, it was a very low risk, high reward solution. Then there was another issue that I had to deal with that I was concerned about, and that it had to do with whether or not a JavaScript, TypeScript, this whole entire open source environment would be ready for prime time in an e-commerce global international environment. But it turned out that they had enterprise plugins and complete internationalization functionality that we needed at the time, which was terrific. I discovered that they actually have enterprise level support plans that were available that really turned out to be a blessing for us when we did have a hiccup one time. And the live update functionality was a big advantage. Because one of the things that I knew we were going to need to be able to do is be able to provide updates to our field rapidly, and they can do that. But knowing that such a technology exists is only one part of the equation. The other one was, how in the world do I sell this to upper management? Because I was going to have to prove its viability in a number of different ways. Well, the opportunity arose to actually do that. Because Norwex wanted to produce a training application, and they wanted to do it as a mobile app, but it was going to be expensive and time consuming, and they needed it to be out quickly. So what I did was I told them, let me do it. So I personally developed and deployed a Norwex training application called Party 360 using the technology stack of Ionic 3, Angular 4, GitLab, and Jira and all that. It was released in 4 countries in English, French, and Spanish. And after it was successful, I then presented a business plan to senior management to hire staff and 4 developers and lead the development of our API and our mobile applications. And they received it, but I found out that there was some internal resistance to such an idea. The primary one was the fact that that our senior management had the same lack of information that I had. They thought that mobile development was too difficult, too expensive, and that the internal development could never meet the aggressive timelines that were going to be involved. But both were proven to be the exact opposite. It was less expensive and much faster to do it ourselves with this technology. I used Party 360's requirement meetings. So that was the training application. So when we were doing training meetings, I saw an opportunity. And the opportunity was to start training everyone, senior leaders in particular, on what is hybrid mobile application technology and how could it help us here at Norwex. I actually used these requirement meetings, and they would say, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I would tell them about how I can, or in some cases cannot, but with this rapid development environment, I can actually make some of the things they want to do possible. And there wasn't a need for them to go out and hire a third-party vendor or hire specialized skill sets, that we could do this, that I could hire people to do this. I do want to note in one area, though, that there was something that I completely failed at being able to do. I also attempted to explain to my senior management, not just explain, but promote the use of progressive web apps. And I just wanted to let everybody know that I found that to be rather unsuccessful, that it was just very difficult for senior managers to understand the difference between a mobile application and a progressive web app. I take that on my shoulders. The last thing, that this actually did end up being a success. Now, I'm not saying that this will work for everybody. I'm just trying to give a quick explanation of my experience. But by using these opportunities to basically teach upper management, and once they began to understand that the Ionic framework could leverage our current resource skills and rapidly develop mobile applications at a low cost, the resistance actually turned into excitement. The Norwex shopping app has been in production for over a year in 4 countries and is generating significant revenue. Our second consultant application is well under development and will be released soon in 2022. So we're very, very excited. I thank you for the opportunity to give you my testimony, and I'd like for you to hear more technical details from our team leader and senior developer, Daniel Rodriguez.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you very much, Rob. So I'm Daniel Rodriguez. I'm the lead mobile developer here at Norwex, and I'm gonna be talking to you guys about our team. Right? Let me share my screen. Okay. So first, I want to talk, right? I'm sorry. So first, right? So we have a lot of technologies, right? A lot of frameworks, layout libraries, platforms, and we have a lot of technologies where we can choose from, right? And they are all good, right? But it is very important for us that we choose the right technology for our project, right? Every project is different, every project is unique, but how can we choose the right technology, right? So here, I'm just gonna talk to you guys about the technologies that we choose and why we chose them, right? So first, I'm gonna talk about us, right? So who we are. So Norwex is a company that provides high quality products to families and helping them to live safer and sustainably. Norwex is available in multiple countries, but the Norwex shopping app is available in 4 countries with 6 different cultures and growing. But more specific to our team, right? So what are we doing to help Norwex and our customers, right? About the vision and the mission. So we are the team that we're on charge of the research, the development and the support of the mobile applications in all the available countries. So how are we doing it? Because Norwex is available in multiple countries, we had to research multiple technologies and find the right one for us. The one that allows us to deliver the content to more customers faster, and the one that makes our applications easier to escalate and easier for new developers to help us work with it. So, being said this, we have some choosing criteria, right? This choosing criteria while we were researching was the adaptability. How flexible and adjustable is the technology? The delivery. How easy it is to deploy a fix, a new feature to our customers. The support. We are developers, right? So we don't know everything, and sometimes we need help. But when we need help, who can help us, right? And then the community. Is it accepted by other developers? Is it supportive to other developers? And this is the technology that we choose, right? We are using Ionic, we are using Angular and GRX for the state management and Tailwind. So why did we choose Ionic? Well, Ionic is a platform that specializes in creating native apps using web technology. It gives us the flexibility of building cross-platform applications without any problem. It's one code for all, and that means that we have only one code base for our iOS application, for iOS application, and one for Android platforms. It has all the required plugins and integrations to interact with the operative system. It saves a lot of time and effort. And also, all the cloud solutions saves a lot of time while deploying changes to the app, thanks to upload live updates, right? Then Angular. Angular it's a JavaScript framework based on TypeScript. This framework has all the required tools for development. This reduces the time spent on research. Angular is constantly updated. Every year, the Angular team releases a new version, adding more features, right? So another helpful feature is its components. Being a component-based framework, it helps us to develop only once, but use it multiple times. Then NGRX, right? NGRX is the state management system for Angular, and it's based on Redux. Well, for us, NGRX helps us to create maintainable, reusable, and reactive data stores. About Tailwind. Well, Tailwind is a customizable CSS framework. It helps us to create beautiful UIs faster with less code, increasing our productivity. Its syntax is very easy to read, to understand, and if we have any problems, the documentation is excellent. And also, one of the best features about Tailwind is that the building process makes our CSS code smaller, making our app bundle even smaller. And then, as I mentioned, well, these are only the technologies that we are using for a mobile application. But what about the content? Do we have to make a release to update the content? Well, no. For that, we have a bigger stack, right? That we have here in the bigger picture. As you can see, we have not too much complex stack, but it's very useful. Why? Because we have a CMS, right? That this CMS, it just we have a custom implementation of a Python and SQL Server to update our content. Well, this allows us to give access to our marketing team to update the content of our app. And this is a very powerful tool as it allows us to modify our content as needed, as products, images, and catalogs, etc. And to get information from the CMS, we have a Symfony server, and this helps us to convert the entire data to JSON objects and get it from the application. And then because we are using Symfony and the CMS, one of the challenges that we found is with the images, because we have more than 100 products available, and when we have more than 1,000 users, getting all the images from the server, it just gets a lot of calls, right? It's a lot of storage, so it increases the cost by a lot. So how did we fix this issue? We started using AWS. With Amazon, they have the Lambdas and we have the S3 buckets. So what we did is we have a Lambda function that gets all the images. We process them, we resize them, and we store them in the S3 bucket. This allows us to deliver all the images through Amazon CloudFront, and then with our mobile application, we just get those images. It helps us reducing the cost of our servers, the payload, and it makes our application even faster. Then we are using Firebase. So what is Firebase? Firebase is a tool created by Google, right? So we are using it for push notifications, and we are using it for analytics. Firebase allows us to deliver those push notifications for marketing campaigns, and this allows us to do it by country. Because we are available in multiple countries, we need those push notifications to be different in every language, in every country. So Firebase makes it very easy to do it. And also with analytics, it helps us because we can keep track of our application usage, and then we can get very detailed reports for our application. and well, as final thoughts, right? After all the research we have made, we found the right technologies for our project. We have had some challenges in the way, as no technology is perfect, right? But the ones that we found have allowed us to create excellent quality applications, helping the customer and the company. Thank you.
If I may, please, Daniel, may I make a couple of comments during our last few minutes here? I wanted to let everyone know that a personal story with our implementation of these mobile applications using Ionic framework technology. Because we knew we had multiple applications and that there was a possibility of sharing code between the applications themselves, we created a mono repo and shared a lot of the code. And over time, we developed a very complex build environment. And at one point, we finally got ourselves in trouble where our build environment was not working well, and we had to find a solution. And there was a point in, for me to really leverage, do I really have what I need from Ionic? Because there was a point in time when I needed their support. I needed their technical help. And we were able to leverage, I forget what it's called, their enterprise support agreement, whatever. We were able to leverage that and call them up and say, we need help. we have got to get this build environment. And they brought in excellent staff. They reviewed the stuff that we were doing. They made recommendations, and we learned that we needed to do some things to kind of separate some of our modules a bit because we were having some circular dependencies that we didn't want to have. And we, working together jointly with the Ionic staff that was provided to us, we were able to resolve those problems timely manner and get our fixes back out and get our whole game going again. And to me, that was a very important time in life. And then one more comment about the future. Okay, my company is aware of what I'm about to say, but we have not made any strategic direction to act on it yet. But Daniel and all the developers that have worked on this solution are fully aware of the fact that this code runs on the desktop as well as running in the mobile apps. Should the time come in the future where we need to make some decisions about what are we going to do on the desktop, one of the alternatives that I'm going to be able to propose, thanks to this technology, is let's stop developing a desktop totally separate from all the mobile. Let's just write once for everyone. And that's the conclusion of our presentation.